Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox, and I am with the review for How to Get Away with Murder, Season 6, Episode 8. So, hey, what's up, y'all? Ain't seen y'all in a few days. Yes, I was supposed to post on Friday, and I had every intention of doing that. And then I had an emergency. A good friend of ours, he had a stroke. Seems like it was probably Tuesday night, and we didn't find him until Friday. Nobody found him until Friday. And a considerable amount of damage has been done. And, Friday morning when I found out, it just kind of threw everything off, as I'm sure you can understand. So back and forth to the hospital Friday, Saturday, and I'm just now being able to get to this video. So just asking that you guys really pray for my friend, because it is definitely needed. He is a good guy, and it's just so hurtful, what the situation is right now. He lived by himself, and he was off from work, and so we didn't realize that something had happened until he hadn't made it into work on Friday. So yeah, prayers are definitely needed. Just wanted to let you guys know. This week I have, every intention of keeping to my schedule. Granted, we'll just keep positive and say that things are going to be moving in the right direction, and that the healing will be there so that I can stick to my schedule for this upcoming week. So we have Soul Train Awards coming. I think I'm going to review that. Hopefully it's good tonight. I'm going to, of course, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, top of the blogs, How to Get Away with Murder, which next week is going to be the mid-season finale. So, I'll make sure that I get all of that done. And like I said, every intention of keeping to the schedule. But I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on here. And again, asking that you pray for our friend, that he will be healed and, be back to us pretty much the way that he had been. So anyway, you guys, the review. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys. So it is final exam day. Annalise is going into her classroom, and she's telling them that they're going to have to argue this case against her. Whoever wins is going to get this $64,000 bonus that nobody got last year. And the case that they're going to be arguing is that they're saying that Snow White manipulated the seven dwarfs to push the queen off the cliff and kill the queen. Okay. And they have to argue this case against her, the defense. I just said, oh, is Annalise going to be our queen, or is Annalise going to be Snow White? Like, what exactly is going on here? But as soon as she said manipulated the seven dwarfs, I was like, seven dwarfs, Annalise Keaton 5 minus 2, okay, possibly +1 if we count Gorgeous Gabe. But we can always still count the 5, because do we know for a fact that Wes is dead? I still have a little bit of me that says that it could be possible that he isn't. And where the hell is Laurel and her eyebrows? Okay, so I was intrigued. Jumping over to the governor, she's on TV having a press conference, and she's talking about Real Nice Nate, the fact that he believes that she was involved, but she's always maintained that she was not involved, that Emmett was the one that was in cahoots with Ron Miller to get my words together. Was in cahoots with Ron Miller to get Real Nice Nate's dad killed. She says that he's pointing his grief in the wrong direction. As far as Miss Coldash, she don't know what she's doing. And the camera goes over to Miss Winterbottom and Real Nice Nate. They're watching this on TV. Bonnie tells him, you know what, you can waive the conflict of interest. I am actually going to file the waiver today in court. Real Nice Nate kind of smirks and says, you are good at this. And she was like, oh, you ain't already knew? Okay, you better ask somebody. Back on the TV, they're asking her if they believe that Emmett had bribed Miller. She says she doesn't know. All she does know is that grief, will have you crazy, basically. And, she tries to take the sympathetic route. She understands why Real Nice Nate feels the way that he does. He just wants to get some justice for his father. But again, she's not the one. The Keaton 5 minus 2 are also watching. Michaela was like, enough of that. We need to study for this exam. And this is when I even realized that this is before the exam, which when it began, it was after, we were at the exam. So I somehow must have missed. I didn't realize that they had said 3 days earlier that this was going on. But anyway, it's 3 days earlier. They're studying for the exam. Oliver is like, oh, you guys relax. Annalise is not going to fail you. They all looked at him like, are you crazy? She definitely would fail us, okay, with the quickness. Connor's his normal pessimistic self. What does it matter? We're already at the bottom of the class anyway. And Michaela was like, it don't matter. Bottom of the class at the top law school still means that we're above a whole bunch of others, So she's optimistic. Everybody else is just sort of like, whatever. Now, Bonnie goes to the courthouse and Annalise catches up with her. Okay. And she was just like, oh, so you went on and took on the case, right? And Bonnie was just like, why can't you just be happy for me? Like, this is what you wanted for me, right? To fight back and to, stand up for myself. And Annalise was just like, they gonna get you just like they done got Fine-Ass Frank and just like what they did to me. I mean, just everybody. We don't know where Laurel and her eyebrows are. She's trying to convince her not to do this. And Bonnie was like, well, what happened to you in rehab? Okay, why you so damn scared of everything? Like, now all of a sudden you just scared? You don't want to fight nothing? She kind of looking at her like, you disgust me a little bit, And I said, Annalise, well, you created this monster. And of course, Annalise can't tell her what she wants to, so she just tells her that this isn't her fight. And Bonnie got a good side eye for her, but she was just like, I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, turns around and walks off. And, Annalise just looks at her. And then who's watching from far away in an SUV parked over in the dark shadows of the garage? Oh, Miss Airbnb. That's right. The one that knocked on Annalise's door, should I say, tried to kick the shit down. Which to me is just like, why would you bring that much attention to yourself if you know you're going to be kind of watching and following her? If Annalise does see that lady again, she is going to know her face. So I was just like, why would that lady make all that commotion? I mean, I guess she was trying to make sure that Annalise was across the hall. But anyway, old girl is waiting in the car watching. So now Annalise goes home and she's got to figure this out with Fine-Ass Frank. And Fine-Ass Frank was like, maybe we should leave it alone, And Annalise was like, no, we need Bonnie to stay alive. And he was like, maybe this is the closure that everybody needs. Real nice Nate, can find out, what happened to his dad. And Annalise is not having it. She says that conflict of interest is crazy right now. So we need to play up that one. Get a hold of Bonnie's phone records. Now in court, we're discussing this conflict of interest. Bonnie is sitting there with Real Nice Nate, and I'm thinking the conflict of interest is going to be about something else. But actually, the other side is saying, no, the conflict of interest is with Ron Miller's mom. Okay. Evidently, Bonnie has been talking to her quite a bit after Ron Miller died, and they feel like that's the conflict of interest right there, her relationship with the Miller family. Bonnie turns around and see Miss Miller back there, okay, and Miss Miller looking real businesslike. All right, we ain't got all the paisley and the lace doilies that we had when she was at the house, and Miss Miller looks pissed. I don't think Bonnie was expecting that. Miss Miller gets up there on the stand and she has nothing nice to say about Bonnie, okay? That she relied on Bonnie when Miller died. She thought that Bonnie loved her son the same way that she did, so they spoke a lot, but it all turned out to be a lie. Then she looks at Bonnie and says, why are you doing this? Okay, why are you? Is it for money? And poor Bonnie over there, she just looking like she just sinking away. The judge listens to the mother, and then they turn it over to Bonnie. Do you have any questions? She says no, she doesn't have any questions for Miss Miller because it still doesn't change the fact that Real Nice Nate has waived any conflicts, so we gonna keep on going along with this even if Miss Miller don't like it. And the judge was like, yeah, I don't think so. The conflict is too much. All right, so Real Nice Nate, you need to get you another lawyer. Well, in walks Steen, okay? And Steen stand up and says, you know what, I'll take the case. I said, Steen, what about Cora? But it don't look like Steen worried too much about Miss Cora right now. Okay, she taking the case. Fine-Ass Frank is also in the audience, and he is just looking like, fuck. Okay, so, yeah, what they thought they achieved, they didn't, okay? Bonnie out, Steen in. Now, let's jump back to this final in class, okay? let's try to tie this in to the Real Nice Nate case with Steen. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, maybe they're talking about Snow White could be the governor. Okay? It's really, really clever the way that they wrote this show, I have to say. I was very impressed with all of the ways that everything kind of tied into each other. I'm telling you, this season has been a really good season for me. I just, when I start to try to link up all of the things, it's cool. Anyway, it's time for the kids to start arguing their little parts. So Gorgeous Gabe gets up. I think she gives him 30 seconds and 3 minutes. And he explains that the conspiracy is between two or more to commit a crime, right? So his strategy is to put Snow White on the stand. They were like, Annalise was like, are you crazy? They will rip Snow White apart. And he says it doesn't matter because Snow White is likable. Not only that, Snow White doesn't have a record. She hasn't done any wrong. Okay, so yeah, he believes that she can get up there and win the jury over. So that is his defense. Then it jumps over to Steen. We see Steen talking to Bonnie and Real Nice Nate about putting the governor on the stand first. And that was always going to be Bonnie's line of action. And Steen was like, I don't give a damn what yours was. We not doing that first. We're going to start at the grunt work. We're going to start with the guards, the ones that actually killed Real Nice Nate's father. And Bonnie was just like, no, we can't put her up there because I had gave her immunity. But I was fired before I was able to give it to Of course you were, Bonnie, because you fuck everything up. Steen was like, and what that got to do with me? I ain't told her nothing about no immunity. And so Bonnie does her little signature, show her Real Nice Nate. And Steen is like, show me what? And, Real Nice Nate is still leery. He was like, so now why all of a sudden you want to help us? Okay, what happened to, you were so worried about Cora? And she says that Cora is on some military detail in Middle East somewhere. She's got 24/7 security, high detail security around her, so she ain't worried about her. We don't think that the Castillos is gonna go and try to find her all the way in the Middle East. I said, honey, don't be too sure about that. But anyway, she seems to be comfortable enough with her being away. And so Real Nice Nate is still skeptical, and she was like, you know what, I ain't got to do this. I could be at my house eating a damn gallon of ice cream and enjoying myself in the comfort of my own home. I ain't really got to be worrying myself about this case, looking over my damn shoulder, afraid that the Castillos is gonna come and get me, any of that. And then that's when Real Nice Nate was like, okay, he gonna show her. So he shows her a picture, and it's of a car, and it is the governor's car out parked in front of Ron Miller's home a few days before the killing went down. Okay, so this is interesting. Maybe we better put the governor up on that damn stand first. Back at the firm, Michaela's all staring Gorgeous Gabe down because it seems that he's moved on to some other very smart black girl in the program there at the firm. She's looking at him and her over there talking, and she got the nerve to be jealous. And Asher is all staring her down. I was just like, oh, they're so tiresome. Connor walks in and he tells her how Bonnie is out off the case and that Steen is now taking over. And now, that case is pretty much blown. And while they're talking, Oliver comes in. And, Oliver to save the day, because everybody was feeling so down before he's brought in the papers that they wrote to get into Middleton in the first place, their entrance papers. And, everybody is full of all high hopes and the things that they were going to do, in the future. And this is to show just how awesome that they are. I just rolled my eyes. I was like, oh, child, I know it's not Shonda Rhimes writing, but child, it's so Shonda Rhimes. Pick me, choose me, from Grey's Anatomy. I always remember that. And anytime it starts to get like this, I start to feel like this is what we talking about. Now, Annalise, she's still trying to get them to stop this case. So she goes and talks to Steen and she says, you're going to lose, right? Steen was like, thank you for the vote of confidence. Oh, Annalise was like, what about Cora? Okay, first you were afraid, now this, is it the ego? Is that what has stepped in? And Steen says, listen, I lost all of my family, right, in a plane crash. All right. I had so much stuff going on in my life, and Javier was the one who helped her through that. But whatever he did to help her, it put her under his thumb. She wasn't able to get from underneath it. She had to do a lot of shit that I guess she's not proud of today. And now that she is out from underneath him, then you know what? She's not fixing to be controlled by anybody anymore. So I guess she done sat down and thought about her life and was just like, fuck this, they not fixing to tell me that I can't do this case, they're not gonna scare me, so I guess this is her way of really trying to deal with her fears. Annalise was like, you putting the governor on the stand. And she says, oh, you jealous? Annalise was like, girl, do what you do. I ain't got to cancel my date now. And then this Steen was like, who with Flirt Inferno? And she was like, oh, look, now who's jealous? I said, ooh, Annalise, now you know that woman love you. Why are you playing with her emotions like this? So then we see Annalise at home and she's actually cooking for Flirt Inferno. Okay, looking cute behind the old island. I said, look at the domestic Annalise. We don't get this too often. Okay, so they chatting about the case. He wants to know why she's not even trying to help Steen. And she says because the case isn't winnable. And he was like, what? Not the Annalise Keaton. Okay, slayer of all dragons. Like, you trying to admit defeat before the case even starts? He wants to know if she's not taking on the case because the client is her ex-boyfriend. I said, boy, you are so off. When she looks at him, he was just like, it's all over the news. Everybody knows who he is. So, don't make it seem like I've been prying in your background or anything. And she was just like, no, Real Nice Nate Daddy was killed because of me. All right. So I'm already got enough blood on my hands. I'm not really trying to take the blame for nothing else around here. So I'm just going to stay away from it. And please don't tell me I'm wrong. He was just like, okay, look, like, I don't want to fight. And she was like, baby, we ain't even in a fight. Listen, you will know when you are in a fight with the Annalise Keaton. Now back to Bonnie. She's at her place. She's taking down her little witness board. You know how they have the big strategic board, when they're trying to solve cases and whatnots. And she's taking her pictures down and she gets to Ron Miller's picture and she looks at it. She's wistful. She's sad. She puts it in the file, closes it. And then when she's about to walk away, here comes fine ass Frank. He grabs her hand, pulls her close. Okay. And she just puts her head in his chest and he says, Ron Miller mama don't know you. She don't know nothing about you. That's just the grief talking. Bonnie just looks up at him and then she walks off, says goodnight. I said, that's right, girl. Still don't give in yet. Time to put the governor on the stand. All right. And, Steen goes through all of the dramatics of like, you have a government car. Yep. Okay. Is it assigned just to you? Yep. Nobody else can use it. Nope. Nobody else can use it. Okay. Do you know Ron Miller? Have you ever met him? Nope. Never met Ron Miller. Oh, okay. Well, then maybe you can explain why your car is in front of his house a couple of days before the murder happened. Okay. It was like, dun, dun, dun. I was like, we got the governor on the ropes. How do you explain it being there, Governor? Oh, well, the governor's lawyer can explain that. Seems that she fired an aide of hers because the aide was out there all willy-nilly doing the shit that she wanted to do in the governor's car and not making the best decisions. And it seems that the aide was also seeing somebody who lived on the same street as Miller and had the governor's car, had it signed out that day and everything. Okay. And they had paperwork to prove that. So I was just like, oh. That damn Steen, they thought they had that governor, honey. And that governor was like, oh, you going to have to get up pretty early in the morning to get one over on me. All right. So that's blown out the water. When that governor got off of that damn stand and walked down to her seat, she walked in slow motion by Real Nice Nate. She looked at him like, nigga, try again. So now that we done got through that part, back at the Affirm, Annalise was like, I done told you guys that the governor is a whole different kind of animal. Okay, she gonna do whatever she gotta do. She gonna pay off whoever she gotta do. She gonna make sure that she is covered. All right, there is no way that you guys gonna get around this one. So she just sort of like, I told you so, nanny, nanny, boo, boo. And they're like, we don't even really need this right now, Annalise. But Annalise got some news for him. She gonna help him out. Go after Miller instead of the governor. We can use Bonnie as a witness. Real Nice Nate was like, no, we can't do that. They've already made Bonnie a liability. Steen doesn't see it that way. The jury didn't see what happened with the mama, so we actually could put Bonnie up on that stand. Bonnie, you with it, right? I guess Bonnie ain't got much choice now. Everybody wants her to do it. That poor Bonnie was over there looking like she wanted to throw up. I said, you gonna be all right, Bonnie. Now, jumping back to the future. The second student that's going to argue their case is Asher. He says that he's just going to let Snow White, say that she's guilty. And then he'll argue that she was a victim of male toxicity. To kill or be killed. How can we blame her for that? Then it skips back to the firm, you guys. And Connor tells him that Bonnie's about to take the stand. She's the star witness. when she used to be the damn lawyer. He was just like, everything is totally a mess right now. For sure ain't nobody getting no money off of this one, no. Michaela, she accidentally bumps into Gorgeous Gabe, and she's all like, oh, sorry. And Gorgeous Gabe was like, oh, you know what? I found out some interesting things about you. Like, you've been with somebody the whole time that you've been in Middleton. You've always been with a guy. And of course, Michaela, I am woman, hear me roar. I don't need a man to get me through, anything. And he was like, well, it sure doesn't seem like that. Okay, are you back with Asher? I mean, hell, Asher's staring me down, burning a hole in the back of my head every single day. No, she's single. She wants to be single. She meant that. He was like, oh, you do, huh? So he's all teasing her, and she's getting upset about it. Mad at the girl, Peyton, I believe is her name, for telling him that. And while they're talking, and he's sort of twisting the knife a little bit, up walks Peyton. Hey, study mate, you ready to get busy? And he says, yes. Okay, he says, Peyton is very smart. And he walks off, and Michaela's looking over there. She's bothered. Asher, what did he say? Okay, she was just like, nothing. She gets her books, and she's like, I'm fine. And she walks off. That damn Asher is starting to be to the point where he's like obsessive. I was like, it's starting to be disturbing a little bit. You know what I mean? He's full on stalker. But the case, Snow White. Let's get back to Bonnie up on the stand. Bonnie says that she found out firsthand that Ron was the one who ordered the murder. She won't give the name of the person who gave her that information, but she is telling you guys that the man that she loved had been fooled her, and he was the one that was behind it. And she's not giving up that person's name because she tried to give that person immunity, but she wasn't able to do it. And the lawyer was like, because, you were fired because you had made up a fake case, and gave it to the FBI. And, she had to get around that, couldn't say yes or no. Instead, she was just like, listen, I'm trying to get to the truth the same way that you guys are. You need to be going after the truth. All right. So if you want to find out the truth, all you got to do is give that person immunity, and then they'll get up here and tell you anything you want to know. So they get a little break, and back in the office, Steen was like, girl, you is brilliant. Okay, they're gonna have to give that person immunity, because if they don't, then it's gonna look like they're not really trying to get to the truth. Gives Bonnie a high five. I said, that's the first time that I've actually seen Bonnie look confident and happy ever on this fucking show. And Real Nice Nate is still not ready to celebrate. Of course he isn't. Because Real Nice Nate's whole thing is like, he don't know what that lady gonna say when she get up on that stand. If she get up there and say something totally different, then their case is just done. They ain't gonna win. They ain't got shit. Thing was just like, well, you know what? Let's see if we can get the girl immunity, and then we'll go from there. And then Finance Frank goes and tells Annalise, like, they're going to give that guard immunity, but don't worry about it because she ain't forgot about me. He was bad, Finance Frank, when he went and told her that she better not say what she knows she did. Now, third student is Michaela. What is she going to argue as her defense? She found a better suspect than Snow White. How about Snow White's father, the king? Okay, most women are killed by their domestic partners anyway. That's the person that's closest to them. He had power, he had money, he was able to hire the henchmen to do the job and then cover the whole shit up. And Annalise was like, well, I don't know about that because we still need to convince the jury. And Michaela was just like, well, the average Joe already believes that the elite gets away with shit anyway. So they definitely will believe that the king was behind this because they sick of all these rich people getting away with everything anyway. Then jump back again, and Michaela's in her room studying or trying to study for the final, but of course she's worried about Gorgeous Gabe, and here comes Asher for the shoulder, for her to cry on. I mean, this scenario is actually starting to just really get on my nerves. I'm so sick of Michaela and Asher. I just don't even know how to explain that to you guys. I think you got it though, right? He's gonna kill Gorgeous Gabe, for making her feel bad. Oh, he's not supposed to move on with other women, And Michaela actually says that they have done things to Gorgeous Gabe. He has every right to, kind of feel the way that he does. Look at what we did, especially Michaela. While she's talking about the shit that they did to Sam, Asher kisses her in the mouth and she's like, oh, what are you doing? Okay, you need to leave. He tells her he's sorry and she's like, you need to go. And I was just like, oh, I'm sick of him. Now, It's after the long day at work. Bonnie's on her way home in her car. Annalise calls her, tries to invite her over. Just come over for dinner. Bonnie was like, well, what do you want? Tell Finance Frank I'm fine. I don't know what he told you, but I don't feel like all this. Annalise was like, I'm just trying to invite you over for dinner. Annalise knows that Finance Frank wants to get with Bonnie. Girl, what do you think about that? Bonnie is not real sure what this is that's coming from Annalise now. She stops at a red light and then pulls up next to her old Airbnb. Okay, she over there fiddling around and looking down and looking over at Bonnie. I said, what you about to do, lady? I thought she was going to shoot Bonnie at first. I said, I know you ain't going to shoot her in the broad. Well, it's nighttime, but you know what I mean? But the light turns green and they both take off. Bonnie is still fussing back and forth with Annalise like, I don't even know what that got to do with anything right now. I ain't coming over. Annalise still trying to convince her. And then after she gets up a good amount of speed, she realizes that she can't press the brakes. Oh my God, Annalise, I can't stop. Help me, please help me. I said, girl, if you don't run into some of them parked cars on the side, okay, slow that damn car down. Instead, she's heading right into like this intersection that's busy. She about to get hurt. Then we see Finance Frank. He bad Finance Frank. He's on the dark streets. He's following the guard. She's on the phone, not paying attention, has her son walking. I'm thinking to myself, like, girl, if you know that you're scared and shit that's going on right now, it seems like you would be having that kid's hand and you would be paying attention. And who the fuck is walking down a dark ass street? Child, I would be so spooked you couldn't catch me out like that. Okay, so anyway, Finance Frank is coming up on the girl and she's saying how she's afraid, but she's not going to, she don't get immunity. She ain't going to testify or whatever. And right when he about to lower the boom, and I don't know exactly what the boom was going to be with the little boy being there, Annalise calls. And we know what that call is about. Next thing we see Annalise and Finance Frank in the hospital. And Annalise was like, maybe we should just go to the police. And Finance Frank was like, listen now, I done did all this shit. Please don't tell me you ready to turn now. That's what I can't do. The doctor comes in and she looked like she about to pussyfoot around. And, Finance Frank was like, just give it to us plain, doc. Is she dead or not? Jumping back to the future, the fourth student that's going to argue their case is Connor. Is he going to put the whole conspiracy on trial? Even if Snow White has talked about the queen, that's freedom of speech. That don't mean that she going to do something. And even if she tell the dwarfs to do something, that don't mean that they got to do it. Hell, if I say you need to jump off the side of a bridge, does that mean that you going to do it? She can't take the blame for what the dwarfs did. Then I was like, okay, Annalise is definitely Snow White here. Okay, but then I was like, but is Annalise the queen? Like, I'm just trying to put all of this shit together, right? But back to the past. Connor gets home and Oliver is mad. Okay, you can't just leave and get home real late and don't tell me where you were. And Connor was just like, I was out, doing whatever I'm doing. Why you all up on me anyway? Okay. And Oliver is just like, you got to communicate. That's what you do in marriages. And Connor was like, well, you know what? I'm going to communicate to you that I'm mad at you. All right. And Oliver was like, why? He says, oh, what was that whole, Mother Teresa coming in with the papers and, going on and on about, my paper and how I was, a hero and all of that. And, Oliver was like, well, what was wrong with that? And he says, you're overcompensating. You don't want to look at me as the person that chopped up old Sam. Connor was like, I don't want to be no damn hero. I just want to be in a relationship that I'm loved and feel protected. And, that's what I want out of this relationship. What do you want, Ollie? Okay, are you happy? I said, I bet you he ain't happy knowing that his man chopped folks up. But back to Bonnie. Okay, so Bonnie has a hematoma, all right? And, there's some issues there, but bottom line is she's going to be fine. She has to stay at the hospital overnight. She can go home. Fine-ass Frank has to go up to her, I love you, Bon. I love you, Bon. I was just like, oh, shut up. Annalise is watching them talk, looking at this exchange, and then she's walking out. And also at the hospital is Real Nice Nate and Steen, and Real Nice Nate is like, how's she doing? Annalise says she's going to survive. And Finance Frank was like, we don't know that. Okay, and he walk all menacingly up on Real Nice Nate. I said, okay, Finance Frank, now don't get your ass fucked up in this hospital just because you think you in love with Miss Coldass. He's looking up at Real Nice Nate like this is all your fault. He get to run in his mouth about Miller being dead and Real Nice Nate getting his justice. And, Steen is over there listening like, wait a minute. What are we talking about here? Annalise is trying to stop him like, Finance Frank, shut the fuck up. But he's going on and on. You got your justice and now Bonnie is suffering for it. Like, you don't get to hurt her anymore. You know, Real Nice Nate is just looking at him like, motherfucker, you best to back up. Okay, and of course, Steen is listening to this again, and Annalise shuffles fine-ass Frank off, and Steen is looking around like, Justice, Miller, Bonnie. Okay, you know, it don't take a genius to know what then went down here. I said, girl, you think that the Castillos is so bad? Okay, this new lot that you done hooked up with, they ain't that much better. So now Annalisa, she had done shuffled them off. She hustles them to the stairwell, and she says, you know what, Fine-Ass Frank, I got a better idea. Okay, you were right. Okay, next thing we see, Fine-Ass Frank talking to the guard in the dark again. She was like, are you crazy? I can't say that. Xavier will kill me. And he was just like, if you don't say it, I'm going to kill you and your kids, your mama, your daddy, your cousins, your uncles, aunties, anybody that means anything to you, I'm going to kill all of them. And so now that we have sufficiently stressed out the damn guard, we see her up on the stand the next day. And they ask her, did any of your superiors, order you to kill Real Nice Nate Daddy? Girl, come on now. Who told you to kill Real Nice Nate Daddy? Okay, look at Real Nice Nate right here. Okay, this man has lost his father. Right when Real Nice Nate Daddy was about to get some mental help that he needed, you gunned him down, and you have a responsibility to tell us who told you to kill Real Nice Nate Daddy. Go on and say it. Who ordered you to kill Real Nice Nate's daddy? She going off on the poor girl. The girl's all nervous and everything. And I said, girl, what you gonna say? What you gonna say? Okay, she see Fine-Ass Frank. He out there in the audience watching. Okay, you got to know that Xavier Castillo is watching somewhere too. So she finally says Xavier Castillo. And then we go back to the conversation that Annalise was talking to Fine-Ass Frank in the stairwell. She told Fine-Ass Frank to go on and tell the guard to go on and say that it was Xavier, not Ron Miller like they had said from the beginning. Steen is just like, okay, so what was all that talk about Ron Miller supposedly making a call for you guys to do the hit? And she says, no, Ron Miller actually found out about what was going to happen, and he was actually trying to stop it. He was arranging a transfer or something else to happen. And I helped kill an innocent man, and I'm so sorry. Now, this is the bombshell that they need. Now, back at the house, Keaton 5 - 2. Okay, here go Oliver. Another one of Shonda Rhimes' moments on Peter Novak's show, I know. To bring up the spirits of everybody, with the finals coming up and whatnots, he's arranged a puppy party. He has a big room full of Labrador Retriever puppies there, and who can be upset when you got all these puppies staring you in the face? And it was all cute and everything, but I was just like, oh, God. But back to the case. Now listen to this, you guys. Now that the state realizes that, what went down, they willing to give Real Nice Nate $10 fucking million, okay? Because of the death of, his pops. And in return, all he has to do is promise that he won't ever try to sue the state or, bring any of this back up again. Okay? I was like, bitch, so do you know the hell you can do with this damn $10 million, Real Nice Nate? I mean, you can get out that dirty ass apartment, the brown one, the dank, it stinks. Probably smells like corn chips. All the furniture is one color. Okay, same color as Real Nice Nate. It's probably just a studio. It don't even look like it got a bedroom. It's just sort of like, can you just get this money? Do you know what you can do with this? Like, what is wrong with you? I said, you better take this damn money, Real Nice Nate. He looking over at the police, and he ain't looking too sure about it. Steen look up at him, and she could tell that he about to, the fool is about to say something stupid. So she was like, let me talk to my client. We'll get back to you in a second. So when they walk out, Real Nice Nate was like, so what are my options? She was like, listen here, boy. Okay. Now, if we keep on going with this case, everything is going to come out. Everything. Also, the death of Ron Miller. Okay. And if you was involved in that in any kind of way, let me reiterate, any kind of way, if you was involved, like, nigga, I know that you probably killed Ron Miller. I ain't gonna say it right now because you ain't told me that, but I know that. And if you want that to come out, then keep up with this foolishness. You know what that damn stupid ass Real Nice Nate said? I said, oh my God, you about to say something stupid, ain't you? You gonna say something stupid? He says, this doesn't end until we bury the governor. Oh my God, but I was just like, but the apartment, Real Nice Nate, it stinks. Smells like corn chips. It's small. It's dank. It's brown. You don't have... Why are you doing this? What the fuck is wrong with Real Nice Nate? At that moment, I was like, I will never like him again. But whatever. The breaking news finally makes it to the news, all right? All about the case. How, they said that Xavier Castillo is the one behind all of the killing, so it's all over the news. Bonnie's in the hospital. She's watching from her TV. I said, oh, Bon about to be upset. Fine as Frank comes in the room and she just looks over at him and she says, you and Annalise? And he just kind of shakes his head, yes. And she was just like, get the fuck out of the room. I said, oh, fine as Frank, you done lost the love of your life. And the Keaton 5-2 are also watching. And the governor is talking again that she and Xavier Castillo have no connection. She is indeed surprised that Xavier was involved. But again, she don't know nothing about that. Y'all quit worrying about me. Okay, Real Nice Nate thinking that I was involved is a complete fabrication. Okay, I expect the FBI to come out with a statement saying that same thing. I'm going to be exonerated. I will treat this as an exoneration right now. And then 3 days later, we get back to the final. Annalise has let all of her students speak, and she was just like, you know what? All of you guys got up here with these defenses, and ain't nobody came up with the one that I was looking for. Y'all didn't give me the winning defense. And they were like, well, what is it? She was like, all these years you've been with me, and you just still don't know? Okay, I'm going to give you a hint then. The queen. They were like, the queen killed herself? That makes no sense. She said, I didn't say that. And then it pops into Asher's mind. Oh my God, there's no body. Okay. They're saying that the queen is dead, but they don't have a body. The queen faked her death. Bingo. Ding, 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 ding. Asher, come on down here and get your $64,000 bonus. Okay. Asher jump up. He's celebrating. I'd have been celebrating too. $64,000 is some good, good cash. So then I'm listening to the parallels and I was like, faked her death, made it look like Snow White did it. I'm thinking to myself, who is who? Now, if Annalise is the queen, is Snow White the governor? Okay? Or who is she, is she going to fake the death and make it look like the kids did it? Like, what is happening here? Because the kids we know is being hemmed up by the FBI and, they all under questioning and I'm just like, what? But now I'm thinking to myself, oh no, maybe they're in on it. And maybe they know that it looks like, my mind was just going crazy, but I swear I was loving the way that they tied all of this in. I still can't explain why it's all tied in, but you could tell that it was all tied in. So then it jumps even more to the future. And we see Annalise, she's on the phone, she's making a cryptic call, she tells them that she's ready. And they says, okay, if you're ready, then let's get to it. Okay, first let's erase your hard drive. She erases all her hard drives. And then they say, get your money, get your key card, get your passport. Okay, get your bag, keep all that shit real close to you, go down the back stairs, there's going to be a car waiting for you, it's going to take you to your location, there's a driver there and everything, so you just go on there, and we see her get in the car, and honey, Annalise drives off. And I was like, okay, let me think. So if Annalise faked her death and got the hell on, all I'm still wondering about is where the kids lie in this. I know she can't be leaving them carrying the bag. Like, I can't believe that she would make it seem like they were the ones that killed her, okay? Or maybe she did this whole thing for the final so that they would have their defenses ready to know exactly what they need to do, what angle they need to take to try to protect themselves. Like, I'm just like really trying to figure this out, you guys. Help me out with all of this because it was so much, but it was so cleverly written. I could just see the parallels in there, but I'm still gonna need y'all help. So y'all get down in them comments and let me know. All right, rock stars, that is it. Okay, let me get off of here. I'm going to get this edited. This is Sunday. I'm definitely going to get this up at some point today. I got some things that I need to catch up on that I haven't been able to do all weekend. Get off of here. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is for itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.